All right, here we go again. So it doesn't always come through, and it doesn't always come through exact, but this one seems pretty good. There's a young woman. She wants to marry me. She has something in her mind that I'm part of it. Right. But sometimes I don't, I don't receive. I kind of received. I was able to communicate and, take it with a grain of salt, like psychic. But apparently she's being forced to do things. So I asked her, I said, I asked her, what was it that would be the crime? And she said, he makes me do things. So again, that would, if she told us that, right. It might be prostitution. I couldn't quite figure it out completely, but it sounds like some sort of, either she's a sex slave or it's prostitution. And either way, we'd probably help her out if she was telling the truth. And I told her, you got to tell the truth. I transmitted. I don't know what she hears. Right. I think you have some inside people in Chicago, but they have to, it's just like, the Jews killing their own people when they went in to look for a mosque. You got to be careful of this stuff. So you have to communicate. Again, I told you, make sure you communicate the idea that if they want to talk, we want to listen, but they got to tell the truth. No, we don't want to just go in and do a half a job. We need upfront in to everything, and then you also have to run interdiction around the city. So you got pretty good states. I'm not sure if Wisconsin would help us, but Indiana, Arkansas, Missouri. What am I missing? I'm missing something there, aren't I? Their state troopers can help us minimize people escaping from New York or escape from Chicago. Right. So Kentucky. Right. So I know Kentucky will help. At least I believe. Well, wait, Brashears. Is that Brashears? Might not help. So if we don't have a state covered, we have to figure out how to do that. It's interdiction, so he's Democratic, but I don't help us. Wisconsin. Who's the governor of Wisconsin? Is that Democrat? Yeah, everything's gonna help us. So what we gotta do. So we gotta somehow cover Wisconsin. They're probably trying to get to Michigan, maybe Ohio. Minneapolis. But Minneapolis is weird right now, so they may not. Some may just try to jump over to California. Right. Just turn up general interdiction. And of course, you got eyes and ears to know whether they're bugging out, but supposedly somebody bugged out already. Right. So the longer we wait, more likely they're going to bug out. But what we don't want to do is settle for less intelligence than we can get. We've got to act quick, but we need into as many properties lawfully that we can get into. That's where we're going to score. That's what I understand. That's at least the inside. The key is to get into these properties and look around, and we'll find people, we'll find drugs, warehousing situations. We'll find young ladies and kids and other people. And of course, some men are stuck in some shit too. So if they want to say that that they're being held against their will, and they can provide us with evidence that that's going on, and these people are crooks and all that, then we can do that too. The key in Chicago is that we want people that want to be friendly. We want them to be friendly. We want them to provide us with information. We want to do something for them if it's at that level and it's honest. It's a big city with a lot of stuff going on. We need overhead drones. I don't know what you can do with the Air Force. Helicopters make too much noise. you're gonna need. I would use them. I would plan for some air mobile operations, but only when you need to. You could have a response team that flies in on helicopters. I mean, you did the medevac thing. You need medevac too. Chicago, I definitely focus on medevac. Anybody, Borstar kind of stuff if you can. I don't know who's qualified. Well, Hamburger Hill came up, so it just means, I guess, at this point, don't panic. Just be cognizant that this could be bloody, but there's ways around it, I guess. I think you should have in Chicago. I think you should have air mobile teams that can fast rope or whatever, even land the helicopter if you can. Smaller helicopters are better for that kind of thing because you can land them better places. I don't know if you want to do that or not, but you can just plan to fast rope. That's also can be a danger and kill someone. So I came up with a system that makes it's not as fast as fast rope, but it doesn't cut it down as much where you would have an issue. You couldn't fall off the rope. Right. Came up with it after the FBI agent was killed. Fast roping at Quantico or wherever it was, or Ship. I can't remember where it was. Yeah, he probably blocked it. Thank you. I don't know what you have available as far as helicopters, but what you need is I would zone it. I'd have helicopters serving a certain zone. They could pull double duties if necessary. One for response team, one for medevac. I mean, one could be doing medevac, and then of course when somebody has a zone, if another zone's hot and your zone's quiet, you can work in the other zone. Right. Well, part of it is if the police department had the augmentation of the task force, then they could do the same thing or better if they had that many people. So again, it's not don't trash cops because we're doing a better job. If they weren't there, you'd fall in your face. You couldn't maintain the city, right? But crooked guys can go home. We don't want crooked guys anymore. They were killing their best cops. You're lucky I'm a nice guy, or I wouldn't have helped you over the last 20. How many years is it now? 21 years. But I don't know what you're going to do. Pryor's crazy. It's his brother, His brother was the Supreme Court guy. It's like super liberal. He's not just a liberal; he's super liberal. Right? The task forces are he calls it a national police force. It's a federal police force. We have federal. He used that word on purpose because he knows there's federal police forces. Right? He knows there's federal police department, so he goes national police department just to be a little shit. Because I do the same thing. Because if he said what he's doing is building a federal police force, well, yeah, we do have federal police forces, right? But it's not against the law. It's just you can't. I think you need Congress in there to actually build a police department that would serve as a backup nationally. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally legal. Right? Now, when they don't call you in, it gets a little sticky, but it's the same thing as what the FBI does, but it's a police department. What you did is you created the investigators and never created the police department. Right. Now, quite frankly, we use our special operations groups like a police department at times. Right. Even for, instead of calling in a state and local unit, we call in, we tell them we're there, but we call in our special operations people to handle any type of thing that might be out of an investigator's purview, right? And again, we cross train people now a lot more to do that kind of thing. What whose idea that was? Is he sending them in? I don't know. I don't know if he's sending them in. Okay, if you're using spyware, make sure they don't use it on innocent people. I'm an innocent person. They're not allowed to use that shit on me, right? And there are others, right? You have an officer in alligator amplifiers. That's not good. An officer making complaints. I mean, who knows? But now he was hired, but did he work anywhere before that? Who is the guy? Right. Regulars. Just staff member at Alligator Extras. Well, what's his experience? I mean, prison working in prisons, it can be draining no matter what the prison is. So I don't know what he's saying. Right. But I did say you can make it easier on the staff by adhering to certain features that weren't put in there. And again, you didn't. You can always modify it. So I don't know what you're going to do with it. I mean, if you have it and you own it, I would put it up somewhere else, but I would modify it. Right. And like a judge may say that you have to put less detainees in each cell. That's what they might tell them. Might tell you. Thanks, sir. Well, there's certain convenience features that are built into correctional facilities, so for staff and inmates. So sometimes they're there for a management reason. It's just easier. That's what I was telling you. It's some of that stuff can become very. It's like you want as many showers as you can afford to put in because then when the officer takes in the shower, it's just like so simple. 5 minutes and you're out of there. Right? Everybody jumps into a shower right away. They don't wait. Right? Or you don't have to take 50 trips instead of you take one trip or something. Yeah, they need these detention centers because they need to get these people out of here. Right. It's just we can't take care of them the right way. We're not supposed to take us down. We're supposed to bring them up. Correct. I think the Democrats will probably bring some of those people back. Anybody that's been here a sizable amount of time, the Democrats will probably extend amnesty to or something. Right. You should get money to me. I have no idea why you don't do it. Right. They're all full of shit. That's why. That was somebody else speaking through me. Thanks, Larry. Trying to figure out if president's still going to send them into Chicago. Now those stats will allow you to declare a national emergency. I mean, it's funny because Pritzker says we allow this kind of thing. What have we degraded to? But I'm like, you allow these many murders, right? And these many shootings. It's a lot of shootings in that period of time. A lot of murders in that period. We agree, Larry. We agree 100%. National Police Force. That's Bayer, though. I think he got shut down already once. Right. Or Breyer, or whatever his name is. Right. Well, I don't think the Posse Comitatus Act uh, would cover Chicago with the stats you just put. Right. The security patrol thing, I think they'll throw that out. Right. No, I don't think you can do all that. That's too much stuff. Right. I mean, just the fact that there's that many foreigners. I mean, they're going to point to the ones you arrested that were, had some sort of status. But that many undocumented foreigners in California, that right there is a national emergency. These are people from another country. You don't know if they're working for their spy agencies. I'm convinced that spies working for Central and South American spy agencies, I've said this for years, are in the United States. And it isn't just narcotics. They're doing stuff like the deep state attacking me. Right. So they're doing full spycraft and psyop operations. And these people just roam our country with they're not even supposed to be here. And some are actually probably have status. I'm sure there's spies here from Central and South America. Right. Like a Cold War type of thing. I just think he doesn't understand what's going on. The Posse Comitatus Act allows them to do that because there's a clause in it. Right. He ignored the clause, I think. When can National Guard go outside of the Posse Comitatus restrictions? I think there's a state authority. That's weird. To invoke something like that. Okay, so the Insurrection Act. I thought I think there's something there that allows you to do that. There's a wording in there. I thought there was wording that it didn't have to be like a traditional insurrection. It's civil disorder. I mean, that many deaths is civil disorder. I believe. The cops are not, can't stop them from murdering people. That's killing. It's not just the term murder, right? Yeah, yeah. You just got to prevent. Oh, it's L.A. right? I don't remember what's going on in L.A. Everything. Too. I guess like I already said, that number of foreigners in the United States. I mean, what if even 1/10 of them were spies? I mean, spies do a lot of stuff that is not considered traditional spy work. They do racketeering and organized crime work. You can't say it's an insurrection. I don't think, but you can say that it's civil disorder. Or is it rebellion? Let's see. I don't know if you'll make the case for rebellion, but there is a rebellion going on. They're trying to seek to control territory like the cartels do. Well, it's not their territory to control, right? I believe you can invoke the Insurrection Act. Yeah, it's a certain level of disorder with that many murders and that many people being shot. But yeah, that's maybe why they, because I thought you'd say, would do that in California somehow. I don't know. Maybe you can't. I mean, the protest. Oh wait, the protests are civil disorder, right? The Insurrection Act covers civil disorder like the protests. The judge can't say what he's actually saying that there's civil disorder, right? Because he says you're not allowed to police those in his order, I think. Now you had I remember what was going on now. You had every reason to invoke the Insurrection Act. The judge is wrong, right? Oh. My brother's in Iceland. I know he tries to act like he's like as bad off as me or bad off. He's not. Because you wouldn't catch me going to Iceland in my condition. Right. Well, I hope to come up out of this pretty soon. The bike felt pretty good. I might end up on the bike tomorrow. Nah, that's bullshit. Nor was civilian law enforcement unable to respond to the protests and the enforcement. That's bullshit. They weren't able to do that. Right. It's just like the idea of accepting some level of violence as normal, right? Like in Chicago, accepting that 20 people are killed and whatever number are shot in that 14-day span, right? So the judge uses a flawed argument. Mhm. See, they want to talk about what the city looks like while you're patrolling it, and try to forget about what it looked like when you're not there. I'm sure you appealed it. I didn't break the law. See, you already appealed it, right? That was the point. They're allowed to execute domestic law when the Insurrection Act is invoked. There was a rebellion of sorts. Judges full of shit. Oh man, I keep making your phone calls over here, so they come up on wiretaps. The officers know what's actually going on, right? Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna start walking again. Open more. They're trying to depress me on my news feed, though. They're trying to alter my psychology into depression or something like that. Trump appeals. Trump appeals Judge Beyer decision. Anybody feel that yet or speak about it? Let's see here. Go to the get off here in a second, but I'm going to go to Justice Department if I can. See if they've done that yet. Or maybe Christine Noem. Noem. No M. Is it? Right, so the HS. Let's go to Justice Department. Do anything yet? I guess they should. It should be. Oh, really yet? Attorney General. Let's see what she's doing. Oh, well. Yeah, I think the Insurrection Act was invoked by default. I think the judge is way off base. It doesn't require an armed rebellion. It requires a civil disorder beyond a certain point. And that many, that was going on was that. No, they couldn't handle it. It's all bullshit where they, it's really nice to say that, but it's bullshit. They couldn't handle it. House releases Epstein. Covered by James. It's over 33 pages. Released them to who? People? It's taken out. Oh, oh, so we got these pages. Oh, where's it say Trump? Trump? It says Trump is a stitch. Yeah. I think he just was a mess that they used. That people have to go to jail for what they did to me. You'll be surprised if you knew the truth there, Mace. This anti-transgender Mace. You actually look transgender, Mace. Did I ever tell you that? No, FBI agent, I think, said that Trump was a big snitch in the Epstein case. That's why I didn't know what everybody was talking about. No, without me, you can't get them. Ah.